We rolling?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. David Barrett here for the podcast show Music, Movies, and Movie Music. This is our deep dive into movies and music. And we get together with different artists to discover their favorite gems of their favorite concerts or solo artist or band or movie director or actor. And again, this is early on, but I'm here with the lovely duo from the band called Charm World. They're from the Bay Area. They play shows all over the Bay Area. Make sure to catch them live in the Bay Area and surrounding areas. And my band Mannequin Planet has played with them, and it's just a good scene we have going on right here. And we love these two. This is Bruce and Cynthia again from Charm World, and let's just start right there. I mean, also, just so you know, I interviewed them in more depth about their music career on my other YouTube channel called Entertainment Getaway TV. So you can learn more about them as a group and a band from that channel. And Bruce was in another band prior to Charm World called Yo. And we're going to get into that as well. Some great memories. So let's start off in the music world. I mean, what bands influenced you both from past to present or solo artists that inspire you to be the musicians and artists you are today?
Wow. Well, I mean, I started off as a little kid. I loved the Beatles. I was like a fourth grader when "She Loves You" and those songs came on. We just would walk around the playground. My best friend John and we would put our arms around each other and walk around the playground and just sing Beatles songs.
Nice.
Every day.
They changed music. I mean, we're not the first two to bring this up, that the Beatles, along with the Beach Boys, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, I mean, this was the roots, Chuck Berry of rock and roll. And the melody part of the Beatles too, right? Amazing. Like the melodies, the songwriting, they don't make them like that anymore, kids. Unfortunately, music went from way up here to in the bottom of the barrel of the gutter. Just look at who's winning Grammys now. It ain't nothing that sounds like the Beatles. So what about you, Cynthia? I mean, like, what's your the greatest of the great? Are you another person that loves the Beatles, or what's your thing?
Not necessarily. I'm a little bit younger than Bruce, so I by the time coming up, I heard the Beatles every day on the radio. Like they were already, and I came
established.
Up and, yeah, already part of. Past
yeah
really, for me, and I grew up in East Oakland, so the band that really blew my brains out of I was like watching Don Kirshner's rock show thinking that Kiss was going to show up or something like that. And oh geez, now I'm gonna you know who I'm talking about. Oh god, I'm horrible at names.
Are they Bay Area band?
Oh,
The
no.
The Ramones?
No, not the Ramones.
I don't know.
Oh, yes, you do. They wear the yellow suits.
Oh, the Bay City Rollers?
No!
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you're being so mean.
The yellow suits. Not the Monkees.
Devo. I'm so sorry.
Devo.
Oh, Devo.
A little space out moment.
Way
but
better.
What a revolutionary act Devo is.
Yeah, so like the first time I saw Devo, I was in junior high. I was probably like 12 years old, and I was like, what the fuck? And I had just been given an AM FM radio, so when I went home from being at my friend's house, I just started searching the FM radio for anything that sounded like weird, that I had no idea that music like that was out there.
In case you've been living under rock for the past 50 years, Devo, they take punk rock and they have synth new wave elements. They sometimes wear these flower pot hats, and look them up, Google them up. They're quite epic. They've even recently played Mosswood Meltdown. This is this big festival that happens here in Oakland. And like your drummer, Troy, currently Troy Norman is the drummer for Charm World, but he's a big Devo guy. He loves Bad Brains, Devo, and Slayer. And so he's a big Devo guy, and I'm sure that's your connection
they
too.
They just
so.
blew my brain.
He wants us to play Mongoloid, but I didn't really. I love Devo too.
Yeah,
we were all heavily influenced by them.
What would the Devo song you would choose as a cover?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to really actually look and think.
What about the
But I wouldn't
Beatles?
do
If you were to do a cover of the Beatles,
Well, I actually did a cover of the Beatles when I started playing music much later. About the time Devo came out, that's when I started playing music.
yeah.
We did Little Child. That's the only song I ever.
Wow.
And I also did Don't Bother Me, like with George Harrison. I like George Harrison because he was much more obscure. But Don't Bother Me is one I used to play. Now, I would never in this band. I wouldn't play Beatles song.
Okay.
It's just wouldn't touch it.
I hear a lot
really
of
like
REM
X.
in your vocals.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you that, but I hear Michael Stipe. Is that a purposely thing or not?
Well, we were playing. I was playing music by the time they came out. I was already playing. I wasn't influenced by them. I never bought one of their records. I thought they were good. I saw them originally on David Letterman.
Yeah.
He was so shy that he wouldn't even talk to David Letterman. He just kind of sit on the drum stool. At their first show there. I like him. He's a great songwriter. He seems like he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
But I was never really. I think his songwriting.
I totally hear him in your voice.
We're playing music at the same time,
Yeah.
and that's what was happening. And we're trying not to be. People were trying. We were trying to be original. Of course, we have all of our influences, but we didn't want to be like anyone. We would like to think that we were being.
Let the people know about your band prior to Charm World. This album, which was called Charm World, one of them, right? And,
Yeah, well, our first record was called Good Tidings, so that was a big hit.
Yeah.
Here in the Bay Area.
This is San Francisco band from era of.
We were nominated for a Bammy in 1983.
Okay,
83 or 84.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal to us to be mentioned in Bam magazine.
Yeah.
So we went to the Bammys. We were nominated for Best Independent Record of the Year. That was a great record. If you ever get a chance to get your hands on it, because it's being re-released right now, and it Manifesto Records has put all the Yo stuff back up. All four. I think we have 3 albums and an EP. The EP was only released in Greece, but all that stuff is back up. Really, they're all good. We play some of the Yo songs in the band. The band I'm in right now, Charm World, we play songs from every band I've ever been in, and then we have our own songs. So I finally got to the point. At one time, when I was in each band, I would never play the old songs in the next band. But this band, we play the old ones and the new ones.
What were the other bands besides Yo and Charm World?
Originally started out in Xmas Eve was my first band. And we played the Mad and all the little punk scenes, and we were kind of a obscure kind of band. But
how do you spell that, just so people can look that up?
Xmas, just Xmas Eve, just like it sounds.
Okay, Xmas Eve.
Yeah, 2 words.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
that was a really good little band. This band plays 2 songs from Xmas Eve. One of them was Something's Wrong at My House, which was really kind of a KUSF fave. They used to play it all the time. And that was a really good little song. We play Indestructible Man, which is on the same record. There's the record right there. That was
Bruce Rayburn.
That's right.
Look it up. Yeah. It's on Discogs if you want to check it out.
And
along with
it's not the greatest production in the world, but the songs are really good. And we play 2 of those songs now.
What was the style of Xmas Eve compared to what you do in Charm World?
It was pretty simplistic, nothing fancy. I was a very simple songwriter, and I still am. It was just my songs are a little bit more complex, and it got longer. In those days, a song would be, maybe if you might reach 2 minutes. Now I can do a 4 or 5 minute song because I'll add more verses to it, and I have more to say.
And getting back to what he was talking about, if you don't know about the Bammys or Bam magazine, at one time when a lot of stuff was still in print, which I personally miss, everything's online now. It stands for Bay Area Music, and the Bammys were like the Grammys of the Bay Area. So that was a big deal, being in a local band myself, and that's like something that doesn't happen to every local band. So congratulations on that.
We were absolutely shocked. But basically, the thing is, all the writers in the Bay Area would pick their favorite 10, bands for the year.
Yeah.
And they would, if you got hit by a certain number of them, that's how we kind of got that up to the point where we were nominated. Of course, winning is another thing.
Yeah.
Being nominated was a big deal to us.
And the whole reason I moved to the Bay Area from Florida was for the music scene. I'm talking about Montrose, Huey Lewis, Santana, Journey, just the best of the best. Grateful Dead, the list goes on and on. Primus, Faith No More, Metallica, even though from LA, just a great group of bands, and you were so part of that scene coming up. So besides Xmas Eve, Charm World, and Yo,
so any other? From Yo, I went to Wicked Skipper, which was an excellent band.
I love the name Wicked Skipper. That was
cool. A very good band. I wrote a lot of it. We do Wicked Skipper songs too. I did that with Jeff Carson, who was a singer with the band The Tools. I don't know if you ever heard of The Tools, but they were around in the 80s. That was Mike Fox's band from Subterranean Records, and he went on to be into Code of Honor and I can't remember the other band he was into.
Wicked Skipper, what a name!
Wicked Skipper was a great band. I wrote a lot of songs in that band.
What was that music like?
It was a little bit more guitar-ish, and Jeff Carson was the guitar player and the backup singer. He had a great voice, but he was a fantastic guitar player. Played a lot of leads. I mean, I write little leads for the song, but Jeff would really go on. Well, one of our greatest songs was probably Rainy Day in the Cemetery, which is a really great little song. If you get a chance to hear that, and I think there's a video of that on YouTube. Rainy Day in the Cemetery by Wicked Skipper.
Yeah, look it up.
That is
the reason why we bring up these names is because we want you to know the history of the Bay Area. Of course, the history of Bruce Rayburn, who's been I call a lifer.
Sick Pleasure was the other band of Mike Fox. That was that.
Look at that bunch of merry pranksters right there.
That's Wicked Skipper right there.
Wow,
Some of them. We played New Year's. We played 4th of July on a boat, and had been up all night on this boat because the guy couldn't get us back to shore. So we slept on this boat with no blankets, no food, no booze. Right there. And that's part of that. A couple of guys.
Which one are you in this video?
That's Jeff Carson there with the glasses. I'm the guy there with the sailor hat on.
Okay.
Yes.
Wild. We're thank you, Ruben, for bringing this up. This is great history, people. Look it up. You could discover your new gem, and it doesn't even currently happen, but you can see Charm World currently playing some of these songs, including a lot of songs from the Yo catalog and Xmas Eve.
I will play Wicked Skipper someday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great song. If you can hear it, it's good.
So, Cynthia, aside from Charm World, what's your musical background? Any other bands you want to bring to light that you were in? And what style were they?
I had a band in the 80s called the Sundials. It was a duo with me and another gal. We did kind of, 80s romantic.
The Sundials, right?
Sundials.
Dials.
I don't think you will find them.
And did you play bass and sing in that band, or no?
I sang guitar and wrote in that band.
Oh, okay.
And that band led. That's how we ended up with Chris Isaak. We sang backups.
Oh, cool! Wow.
So it was both.
Another Bay Area great, Chris Isaak from the Bay Area.
Yeah, we sang
great history.
Game and various things of his.
Yeah.
Awesome. She has a gold record.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
With my own name on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something I'll never get, but I really, wow. Congratulations. That's cool. I wish you would have brought that to show the people.
I know. We didn't know it was
awesome.
We should have brought that gold record.
We can always do it. We can always do another interview for sure.
Edit.
So were you all ever, let's continue with, any other groups after that to lead to Charm World? Yeah.
Well, I kind of came out of a band called MX80 Sound because I was really tight with a man named Bruce Anderson, who's passed a couple years ago, who is an incredible guitar player and taught me how to play.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So. And that's related to Angel Corpus Christi. She and I did a thing called Monkey Women for a little while. That was really fun. And I think Sally actually dropped in on Monkey Women.
Remember the band Mud Women?
I played with them.
I played with Mud Women.
Yeah, that's another Bay Area band that's like from from the past that was around when I
They
was
played
here.
topless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
I
they were
forgot
hard
that.
to beat
Well, that
because
was,
of that.
and they had mud all. Well, they weren't really topless. They had mud or makeup all over their.
Hey, you
What
see,
I played with
Whatever
them.
you got to
makes
stand out
everybody
in
happy.
one way or another.
Yeah,
so
they
there you go.
they were not. They weren't the nicest. They weren't very nice.
What other local bands do you all remember around those days that we could just throw names out in case you people out there want to do a deep dive search on Bay Area local bands from that era, from say the 80s to the 90s or before or after? Bands you played with, bands that you went to go
We played
see.
with like B-Team. I know they were really popular at one time.
And the Naked Into.
The Naked Into is what they turned into later
The
on.
Beat Team?
B-Team.
Oh, because
B-Team
there's
was a
Imperial Team. Remember that with Roddy Bottom?
Yes.
Yeah, Imperial Team.
B-Team was
B-Team.
fantastic. My drummer from Yo came from B-Team.
Okay.
So they were going on the same time as Xmas Eve. We merged into.
And
Yo.
what were the clubs around at that time? Were we talking I-Beam and
Yeah, I-Beam. We played
the
there all the
Stone
time.
and
We played the Stones. We played
Mojave
the
Gardens,
Mad.
Berkeley Square?
Yes, we played the Berkeley Square all the time.
Yeah.
It was our East Bay band.
Yeah.
We played Sound and Music in the Tenderloin, which is a total dump, but we used to play there. We played there in the early days, and then it kind of became a kind of like a punk club because it was so sleazy.
Yeah.
It was perfect. But, well, there were lots of little pop-up clubs
Yeah.
here and there.
And bands that pop up and they're gone within 3 to 6 months to a year and on to the next thing. So bands don't last forever. So, it's good to document live concerts and studio albums all you can, because in my case, the band has 5 different versions since 2010 and to 2025. So it's a thing that's, once it's done, you're on to the next thing. So, what other are you two into? Oingo Boingo, Frank Zappa, Santana, Journey, The Dead. I mean, anything in and out of the Bay Area that you like?
I'm not into any of those.
Okay.
Bands.
What other groups are you passionate about besides Devo and the Beatles?
I love Psychedelic Furs.
Okay. Look them up.
I love the Smiths.
Yeah.
I love all the '80s English bands. I mean,
The Buzzcocks.
The Buzz. Anybody who was playing in the '80s, pretty much, we loved.
Well, what I really liked about the '80s too, it was kind of before punk got kind of regimented.
Yeah.
So everything, you had wacky people playing with completely different kind of wacky people.
Yeah.
And so that was really beautiful. There was no like, oh, you're not punk enough.
Yeah.
Which sometimes we get a little.
Joy Division. We absolutely went crazy over Joy Division. Yeah. We were
Susie and the Banshees
we were looking
was
so
huge.
forward to him coming to the Bay Area, and then they had already booked to come to America, and then he committed suicide. We were just devastated.
Yeah.
That just killed us.
We interviewed Eleanor, who's from England, who was really into Joy Division, and the band he was in prior to, right before he killed himself. What was that? The Smiths, or
no, I don't think. I would think that was first. They became New Order after he died.
Yeah, Ruben's bringing it up, but Eleanor goes deep into the history of
we went to see New
Order and Joy
Division. We were disappointed.
So,
but New Order was good musically, but they didn't have that singer. Ian Curtis was the most outrageous.
I love a lot of English bands from Jamiroquai, because I'm obsessed with funk and disco and soul, and Jamiroquai does that. But the bands like for me, for England, are like outside of heavy metal and rock and roll, of course, like Deep Purple is my favorite, and Zeppelin and Floyd and all the greats in England are stuff like Duran, Human League are big for me. Wham, George Michael, that new 80s synth-wave.
Frankie Goes to
synth
Hollywood.
Pop. Yeah, Frank Goes to Hollywood. All that stuff was really a
Frankie.
really cool 80s thing. I'm definitely an 80s lover.
The sound was so new and different.
Yeah.
I love Boy George. I went to see him. He was fantastic.
Another one, Boy George Culture Club.
It was outrageous.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. Well, we used to go to shows all the time. And my girlfriend had worked for Bam magazine later on, and we could go to shows for free, and so we went to everything.
Even the big places like Fillmore, Warfield, Bill Graham.
Anywhere. Not only could we go for free,
wow,
we could get free drinks.
That was the hookup right there.
And we went to see Adam Ant.
It's not about what you have; it's who you know.
We went to everything we could. Yeah, we had nothing to do.
You saw Adam Ant? That's awesome! Wow.
I was going to see Adam Ant just recently, but right before the pandemic, but then he had to cancel. I would have loved to to see for Adam Ant. I want to see him.
I saw Gary Newman at with Ministry.
I forgot to mention Gary Newman. I love Gary Newman from early on. Was turned on to him by some young girl I met somewhere, and she played Gary Newman. We went crazy over Gary Newman. I love Gary Newman. I love Adam Ant. We love the whole new romantic thing, and we fell right into it. Xmas Eve was totally into the new romantic thing. We love new romantic.
Nice. That was such a great scene, and to me, it's I don't feel the music is dated by any. I wish that was the pop world we were living in today.
Yes.
Instead of this crap pop that's the Grammys are crowning these gestures and making them kings.
Sounds like disco to me. I mean, we never liked disco music.
Yeah.
Music today, a lot of it is these boy bands and girl bands and whatever. It all sounds
there's no substance.
There's no
it's
heart.
All very,
there's no heart.
No heart. It's all shallow.
Yeah, and it's all too much alike. I mean, really, in the '80s, there were so many bands. You may think they're a little bit alike, but they're not. Man. It was like there's so much.
I feel that scene they were more individualistic. It was like you had, some of them their look it was this, but it was more to me. I don't know. I just miss that time so much with the look, the sound, everything.
People had more respect for people being different.
Yeah.
That was like we weren't expected to be all alike. In fact, we were waiting for you to wear something weird and do something weird and be different. I mean, that's what makes things grow. Being all the same is like not growing.
Yeah.
There was a rawness in the music of this section of the 80s that was in contrast to how smooth everything had been before. And I think right now pop music is really smooth. And I like things that are a little bit more jaggedy, have a little bit more energy, pain, conflict. Everything being so smooth in pop music, it's not so interesting.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That is a great way to put it. And well, what other groups can we go into that has influenced you to, or should we move on to movies that you like, both of you like?
I mean, I loved AC/DC. I've got to bring them in because I saw AC/DC early on at the Old Waldorf.
Are you more of a Bon or Brian guy?
Oh, I'm a total Bon guy.
Everybody says
that's
it.
The greatest songwriting and singing there is. I mean, I just absolutely loved it. I took my little brother and my nephew and to get into the Old Waldorf, you had to, underage, you had to have spaghetti dinner. And we sat there and had to eat spaghetti, these horrible spaghetti dinner, so that they could get them in there to see AC/DC. They played 2 nights in a row. I don't know why I didn't go to both nights, but we went to one night. I mean, we were practically laying on the stage. It was outrageous, man, to see AC/DC. And the Old Waldorf was fairly small. I actually played in the Old Waldorf. I did some shows at Where's the New Church. We played there a few times, but to actually play in the same place that AC/DC played. And they were running around the stage with Bon on top of Bon carrying Angus on his shoulders. That same shtick was going on from the very first time we saw them. And the next night I heard the show was exactly the same. They played the exact same songs, and it was packed to the gills. But I love AC/DC.
I didn't know Chris Chaney from Jane's Addiction was on bass now.
Oh, wow.
Cliff Williams. That's wild. You know what I have to say, because I think the most overrated singer, and I say that lightly, in rock and roll is Axl Rose. And when I heard that he was going to be stepping in to do AC/DC, I said, anybody but that guy. Just my opinion. I think Axl Rose and Courtney Love are the most overrated male and female in the entire
I have to
music
say,
world.
I thought he did a pretty good job singing, copying
Bon.
I think he did a pretty good job of it.
Okay.
I think he actually amazed me that he did it as well as he did. I'm not a Guns N' Roses fan.
What's your favorite Bon Scott top 3 Bon albums?
Oh, I don't know about the albums, but I know songs I love. I like "Can I Sit Next to You, Girl." I think that is one. Really.
He had a style. Bon was unlike anybody else. Steve Zetro from Exodus and Mark Osegueda from Death Angel. Those singers, they're big AC/DC guys, and they love Bon Scott so much that Mark Oseguedo from Death Angel calls himself Bon Sloth. And they've done AC/DC covers, him. And Zetro has an AC/DC cover band called AZDZ with the drummer of Death Angel, Will Carroll. And they only do Bon Scott era only.
Yeah. Well,
so there you go. And Bruce is another big AC/DC person.
And, you know, you couldn't even buy an AC/DC record. We'd have to sit around and wait for that to come on the radio because they didn't even have a record in America. And like KTIM in San Rafael was one of the only stations around here would even play. KSAN wouldn't even play AC/DC. This is 1973. It was like, you know, you couldn't even hear it. It was to actually hear it on the radio was like, you know, you had to wait all day long for it to actually come on. And you couldn't buy the record because it wasn't in the stores. They didn't have a record in America. And we didn't have these places where you could buy foreign records very easily. So
we missed Tower Records. We still have Amoeba and Rasputin's, but yeah, we missed Tower Records. There was like Virgin Megastore at one time. I could tell you the two AC/DC concerts I saw in Florida were Fly on the Wall tour and Flick of the Switch. So I saw them later. What about your tours? Did you see AC/DC?
I saw the later ones. I saw them at the Civic Center, and it was like, because it was, you know, that's what they were playing in those days. And it was just a million kids, and kids would like create these big pyramids of people out in the middle of the stage. I was going, my God. I mean,
so that was for Bond, you said 70.
That wasn't
right?
Bond.
Okay.
No,
that was Brian.
That was the one with the big bell.
Oh, Hell's Bells.
Hell's Bells, and they had a gigantic
So that must have been either
80s.
For those about to rock or Back in Black.
Yeah, it was a great show, so. And you know,
awesome.
I think Brian did a good job singing. I thought he was okay, but because he could never touch Bond in a million years. He tried to sing a whole lot of Rosie, and that's not something you want to do.
Not Brian doing that.
You can't sing. He can't sing that song.
What other concerts, Cynthia or Bruce, have you seen over the years? Cow Palace. I mean, you named a few to where you had the hookup to go. But any other concerts you remember before we move on to the movie segment of this show? So any other shows, or you want to?
I saw the Dickies at the Old Waldorf, and this was early on, and we were big time Dickies fans. I was amazed that they didn't get to be much bigger than they were, because they were fantastic. We absolutely love the Dickies. I still think that those songs are great. That was the first time that they actually moved the tables out of Old Waldorf, because you had all these tables in it because you had to eat. Okay, you had to eat food because they want to get the kids in the place. Well, they moved all the tables out, and it was like just a big punk slam bash.
San Fernando Valley, 77. They came out. Wow.
They were fantastic. That was a great band.
It's still around.
Cool.
Underrated.
So, is there any movies that inspire you too, from 60s, 70s, 80s, or American films, foreign films, anything that stands out to you? For me, I love David Lynch. You know, Twin Peaks.
I love all those. We saw the Grand
Blue
Lake.
Velvet.
I saw. My wife loves great David Lynch. We were big fans of all of them. Eraserhead. I actually saw that at the UC theater.
I love Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart are my favorites.
I saw it for like $1 or something like that. And I think
amazing.
We would go there after the fact. I saw that a bunch of times. But
Mulholland Drive.
I saw
Lost Highway is amazing.
The other one.
Did you all
Dune.
like the Dune?
I love Dune.
Yes. How does it differ from the new Dune? I haven't
totally darker and scarier.
Yeah. Isn't we have to bring this fact up too? Is that actors that go into music and musicians that go into acting, Sting saw his way into acting into Dune in that as the bad guy.
Oh, he was. I think that's who he really is.
Yeah. Well, I met Andy Summers doing a book reading at Booksmith on Haight Street, and this is before the Police reunion, and half the time he spent bashing Sting. So, and I've heard Stuart Copeland doesn't care for him. They work and make money together, but boom, it's not really happening. I saw
the Police early on, and we loved Roxanne, and so I had to go see them. But that's the only song I really ever.
Who did the music in Dune? Did I recognize a famous name? That was
Brian Eno?
Oh yeah, Brian Eno.
And Toto. Toto did the theme song.
Okay, because I'm a big Talking Heads fan, and Brian
good.
Eno is the man.
I love Brian Eno.
All the soundtrack was composed by rock band Toto with contribution from Brian Eno. Yeah. In case you all didn't know, Dune. Any other directors or movies that stood out to you two over the years? I mean, I'm into Kubrick, Cronenberg. You like Blade Runner? What did you think of when they did the one with Jared Leto? You didn't see that one, okay? The original is fantastic. Rutger Hauer, Sean Young, Edward James Olmos, the Blade Runner. I mean, such a sci-fi epic.
Like Mel Gibson and when he first, what was this movie?
Road Warrior, right?
Road Warrior. Yeah. We loved Road Warrior. In fact,
Yeah.
my drummer looked a lot like him and became him. He loved that movie
Nice.
so much. He actually, just took on his personality.
And here's another one that Tina Turner went from musician and singer to acting, and was in
She was good at that.
in the Mad Max, the second one, I want to say.
I like the new, even the newer ones are.
Yeah.
The new ones are.
I was not
fantastic.
disappointed with
No,
those at
they're
all.
Excellent.
Either one of those.
Anybody who does a Road Warrior movie is good.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I don't know, any other movies or actors you want to
I'm
bring
not all
up?
that prepared for movies, but we used to just, we used to go to my friend's house he worked swing shift, and we would go out to the clubs, and on our way home, we would go to his house. He was the first guy I knew who had a video player.
Okay, cool.
And we would go to his house and watch. He had every movie there you ever could think of in those days. This is in the 80s, when it was a big deal to see movies outside. If you could see a movie not in a movie theater, it was a big deal. So I wish I could remember some of those movies I saw from those days, but he had everything. And we'd stay up till the crack of dawn watching old movies.
Cool.
I love horror movies.
Yeah, we could go on forever about all the great films over the years, but I think we covered quite a bit. If there's anything you all want to add on to it, or we can wrap this up and call it another episode.
Yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into movies, but even though I love movies, I don't have a whole lot of.
Well, we know them from the music scene, and they're going to keep rocking and playing shows together and keep making the music scene a better place in the Bay Area with the members of Charm World here. Bruce and Cynthia, thank you so much for being on the show, and really appreciate you all taking the time to do this.
Yeah.
And check us out for another episode of Music, Movies, and Movie Music. And this is David Barrett signing out. And we'll see you next time.